Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. One of the huge roadblocks as a beginner programmer isn't learning the syntax of a new language, but it's about finding projects to work on in order to improve one's programming skills. With that in mind, I have decided to start a new series where I provide you with hands-on Python projects and challenges to improve your Python skills and buff up your CV. We will be starting as an absolute beginner, and then we are going to build our skills, and then we are going to up the challenge of the projects that we are going to build until we get to the top, picking up cool tricks along the way. With that out of the way, let's get to the meat and potatoes, shall we? As you've already noticed, in this video, we are going to be tackling the guessing game project. The reason why I chose this project in particular was that it is a really good project and a very easy project for Python beginners. You're going to learn how to use while loops. You're going to learn how to use conditional statements. And then you're also going to learn a Python modulo called random. In this game, the program is going to select a random number between two numbers that we are going to choose. And then the user is going to guess the right number. If the user guesses a number that is lower than the number, our secret number, right, or the random number our program has selected, if the user guesses a number lower than that, then there will be a message telling the user that, hey, the number you chose is lower than the random secret number. If the number that the user chooses is higher, there's going to be a message informing the user that, hey, the number you've chosen is too high. And if the number the user chooses correlates to the number that we have, the secret number that we have, then there will be a message informing the user that, hey, you've won, and then the program is going to terminate. Okay, so with all the intro stuff out of the way, let's get to the coding aspect of it. So the first thing that we are going to do is we're going to import random, because we need a way to simulate picking random numbers. And then Python has a model for simulating picking random numbers. So we are going to import random. So we are going to import random. The second thing is, every time a user starts the program, we are going to select a random number. So we have secret number will be equal to random.init, and then it will be between 1 and then 30. It's going to be between 1 and 30. We can print our secret number to see what we get. Okay, so whenever we run our program, we see that we get a different number. So this time we've gotten 13. When we run again, we have 30. When we run the program again, we have 18, right? So every time we run the program, we have a different secret number. So the next thing that we have to do is we have to find a way to keep the program moving, right? Because the way it is now, we have to always run the program to get to the value that we want. But we have to find a way to keep the program moving until something happens, and then we terminate the program. So we'll be using the while loop for that. So while loop, we say while equal to true, meaning keep moving, keep going. We are telling the program to just keep functioning until we ourselves break out of the program. Okay, so that we'll be doing that one later. So while true, we are going to ask the user for their inputs. So the user num will be equal to, we have input, and the input will be asking the user to enter a number. So enter a number. So the next thing we're going to do, we are going to run our program to see what happens. So when we run the program, we are asked to enter a number, right? So we can enter. I think there's a problem here, so I'll be using the terminal instead. Good. So we can type a number. You see, we are asked to type a number. We are asked to enter a number every time. So now we have the while loop to keep the game in motion until we ourselves terminate the game, right? Then we have the input keyword to prompt the user for an input. So when we run our code, we have something prompting the user, give us an input, right? So we can type 7, we can type 6, we can type any number we want, right? So we can make it look better. Right? And then we can type anything and it will keep prompting us. It's going to keep prompting us. The reason is because of the while loop. Initially, we had to, after every time we typed, we had to go and then run our program again. But due to the while loop, we don't have to do that. Good. So what we're going to do next is that we are going to print out whatever we type. So print the username, right? The reason I'm doing, I want to show you guys something. So we run our program again, save, and then run. Let's run it again. Okay. So as I was saying, we prompt the user for a number. When the user types the number, we get a number. But right now we want to know what type is the number. Okay. So we're going to use the type. Python has a method, a built-in method called type. The type method, right? So we are going to copy this, cut, paste it here, and then print the resulting save, and then we run. Good. So let's see something. When I type 45, sorry, I have to quit it first and then run it again. Good. So when I type 35, you see it's a class of str, that's a string, right? So whatever value we get using the input prompt, we get a string, but that's not what we want. We want a number so we can work with it. Because what we are going to do next is that we are going to be comparing the secret number with the number the user has given us, right? So in order to do that, we will wrap the input method with an int method, right? So we have int cut and then paste it here. So now, so let me just close this and then run it again. Save and then run. When I run it, right, and I 34, sorry. When I run then 34, you see we get an int. So that's good. So meaning we can now work. We can now work with them with the numbers. Good. So let's comment this out and then move on. So next thing we have to do is that we have to compare the number that the user has given us and the number that with our secret number. So we're going to use the conditionals for that. So we're going to use an if. We'll be using an if statement for that. We have if the user number is greater, right? If our user number is greater than our secret number, then we are going to print your number is too high, right? Because the user, the prompt that we've gotten is too high, is higher than the secret number that we have. Good. So and then we have to also know what about if the user, the prompt that we've gotten is lower than the secret number. So we use elif. Elif is else if. So elif, the user number is lower than the secret number, then we're going to print your number is too low. Right, your number is too low, right? And then, so if the number is neither too high or too low, meaning the number is equal to the secret number, so then else. So meaning if it's not too high, or if it's not too low, meaning it's equal to, right? It's equal to our secret number. So else, we are going to then print, hey, sorry, put it, hey, you won, right? Hey, you won, sorry, you won. We're going to print, hey, you won. And then we are going to break out of the loop. Okay, so we're then going to break out of the loop. So let's try it and see. So we have, sorry, yeah, let's run the game again. Good. So enter number. When we enter, the secret number is 30, right? So when we enter 22 and we press enter, it gets, oh, the number is too low. If we enter 78 and then we what's a whole now, the number is too high, right? So when we do 30, it tells us, hey, you won, and then it breaks out of the loop. Good. So that is the guessing game. Very simple. But with doing this, you've learned about while loops, you've learned about conditionals, if and else, and then you've also learned about the random model. There are a lot of models, a lot of methods in our random model. We only used the randint method, right? What the randint method does is that it gives you a range between two numbers. So here we've replaced 1 and 30. So it will give you random numbers between 1 and 30. Yes, that's what the random int does. Okay, so you can, right now what we have is a very bare bones project. One way you can improve on this project is to add a limit. The way you are playing the game, you have like the number of chances to guess the correct number. So if the user meets the limit and then they haven't still guessed the correct number, then there will be a prompt telling the user that, hey, you've lost, right? So you can add another, you can change it a couple of things and then add an else if it's not equal to, okay, let me not spoil that. So go ahead and try and figure it out on your own. And then so you can go in and try and figure that out of your own. It will be beneficial if you go in and try out that feature. Try tinkering with the program and trying to make it add little improvements to it to show that you actually understood what we did. Okay, so that will be the end of this tutorial. Thanks for watching, and then see you next time. Bye.